Lori's the photographer, but I'm making sure you got it. Thanks, Lori. Casey Sarna brought that to me. Casey Sarna. There are literally old jerseys. Like there's a football one, a baseball one, and I have no for. So you need to resell them or reuse them or whatever the heck you do. Get an extra. Oh, some of our kids like your quote, right? Yeah. So. Hi, Daddy. How are you? Miss Lori, she works with Dad. Do you recognize her? I know. We don't. I know. I can't. Yeah. Okay. So it's nice to meet you. Finally put a face with the name.
Yeah.
When you're like, yeah, Jimmy, like they know who you are. I'm like, oh gosh, you wouldn't even know who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, I talked the other day about
In accordance with.
halfway plan for this fall.
Yeah. Well, good. Yeah, he was able to get like a little brush hog behind the tractor or whatever.
Yeah.
So he was able to.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, we got.
What a real deal.
Nice to meet you.
With your name, so you you already
had your eye.
really.
Yeah.
My nose is like, I'm gonna have to fix that.
Are we just gonna take a break?
We're gonna call the meeting to order. The board's on, it's there.
Do we need
What's his name?
everybody for this part? Okay. We are going to call the meeting of the Southeast Saline School Board to order, and we're going to take a 30-minute recess to get to know our new teaching staff here. So if you can join us via Zoom or Google Meet if you so like. That's what we need to do.
Good to go. Good job.
You can just sit right here. You can sit in my spot. Oh, no, I'm not gonna. Neil, do you need a drink?
I'll fine, take it. Yeah, no kidding. Really? They take care of themselves, yeah. Explain it all for you. I'll have stuff on my plate.
No, I can stay here together. I forget your name. Oh, no, how are you? I'll go over there, wherever you want. Elaine and her daughter.
face first. Yeah. Oh, I'm just saying.
You been saving any lives?
There's a house last night.
Oh, good. I like to hear that. Little excitement then.
First one in a long time.
Which station are you at?
I've done similar.
Don't switch it. It was over Reed's area, over off Belmont, South area. Yeah, it's a pretty quick, just taking in. Basement fire.
Hi, Justin. How are you? Good. Okay, Addie, you're gonna swing through and you're gonna sit right next to me, okay?
Whole day.
Hey, I'm so glad you came.
It was one of those.
Oh, it's so big.
Usually, son, we're ready to leave.
Yeah, Dad's a sucker for her.
I remember. I just.
Alright.
Yeah. You excited, Addie? Are you gonna ride with your mom to school every day?
She's missing the bus driver. They had so much fun on the bus.
Right.
How do you just beach? Oh, you're lucky. My boy said Harry. We have not had a Harry, so we're finally got first grade covered. There you go. Right. That's not good.
I'm just saying, I'm waiting till they go. Well, you know, I should.
That's why I like this math design.
I want trees to go over.
Oh, yes. Right. All your food. Where does it? No, actually, but it's not. They consider me laying around.
Oh,
All stuff.
Well, it makes me feel any better. It didn't feel all over my head. It was like, Bruce, I took your leave from last week. Good thinking. I'm like, oh. Always seemed to play her phone when they were over. And one day I saw her go up to her bag and bring it back. Of course, she brought it home. She's like, I've never right. Pulled it over the back of the couch. We can plug it in there. Is that a plug it in before, Lori? It is. Nice. Is it gonna reach? She'd be in the building and she'd still be. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Today wasn't as bad as normal. I have a good interpretation. Everybody in here will be in sorry. But then the extra reading, like,
you know.
they're teachers' kids. I have Dwayne, oldest. He's in seminar, so not really fun. And then I have Harris's mom. Oh, Mrs. Perry. They're not old enough yet. Yeah, no, I don't have Mrs. Perry. You're right. That's right.
How are you? I'm good.
We get Jill back in here too.
The little session.
Oh.
I don't even remember. I did a lot of the online stuff since I got the remote. So.
Yeah, that's what you said. I mean, there's a lot
I think I touched more with Google or something. Yeah. I did the remote learning one. I did that one.
How is that different than school setting? Right. They were called.
Were you homeworking or were you fireworking today?
Me? I was playing in the dirt,
You were what?
digging.
Digging in the dirt?
I worked class yesterday.
What is your formal routine? Is it 24 on?
24 on 48 on. Run from one thing to another.
Right? That's no lie. Okay, I think we will start by introducing ourselves. Justin knows who we are. So by the time we start, hopefully he'll get to hear all the questions. So, Jimmy, you want to start by saying who you are and what you do outside of the board and what you're most looking forward to this school year?
That's a lot of information.
Jimmy Shelby, went to school here with Lori. Justin, full-time firefighter in Salina, and then, I'm looking forward to this year is getting through this COVID.
I'm Jill Oddie. I did not go to school here. My husband did. He graduated with Justin and Jimmy, and my son has graduated, so I don't have any kids currently in school, just alumni, but we're happy to see everyone here. We appreciate it. So nice to meet you all. And I sell cars at Money Automotive. And what are you most looking forward to this year? I'm most looking forward to little pictures with masks.
It's a good one.
Maybe we could do the board one like that. I mean, it'd be like the senior that all the boys have the same t-shirt. Yep. So it was from their kindergarten.
Look in the,
Yeah, go look at the composite.
I was gonna have that as a challenge. If you can find my husband, look at the picture and see if you see something unique.
Yep.
I'm Steve Barthol. I did graduate from here back when it was still in Assyria, a long time ago. I work for Smoky Hill LLC. We're a general contractor, mostly highway, paving, facility work, that kind of stuff. Work all over the state pretty much. I have 2 kids here still. I know everybody's wondering why, but I do. I've got a daughter, a senior, and a boy that'll be a sophomore this year. I hope my greatest wish this year is that he comes and makes it through the year. Other than that, just like Jimmy, ready to be over COVID and get back to something halfway normal.
I'm Lori Blake, and I have 3 children. One just graduated from Southeast, and then I have a freshman and a junior. Boys, 2 boys. My husband and I both are alum from Southeast Saline, and when I'm not here, I work in child advocacy and parenting services and help our staff here to deliver our mission to improve children's lives and strengthen families through education, advocacy, and support. And my greatest wish for the school year. I hope we're surprised by the state of our kids when they come back to school. That they're in better shape than I fear they will be.
My name is Teresa.
I was a kindergarten until we started our family, and we moved up here to be close to the family. I have 5 kids. We graduated from Southeast, and then we have an 8th grade boy and a junior boy this year. We have the Sunny Side Christmas match, and I help my husband have a consulting engineering firm. And I think for this year, I am hoping that some of the new ways that we have to do things are easier than we think they're going to be, and that maybe we'll come up with some things we would have never thought of that will carry over and help in the future.
Hello, everyone. My name is Justin Knopf, and I live, my wife Lindsay and I live over northwest of Gypsum. We have 3 children. Our oldest daughter is a 7th grader. Our son is a 4th grader, and then we have a 3-year-old. I farm alongside my family, raising mostly crops. And it was a pleasure to be here this morning and to see you all introduced. You felt welcomed today and feel at home quickly. I know it's always a transition. But I hope you felt welcome. We've talked a lot about, in this room, about culture in our district, and that both hope and vision and expectation of culture starts with the vision of what that is and carries out throughout every person interacting with our students. So that's my hope, I guess, is that we embrace and live out that hope for a culture of family, and that our children and young adults feel cared for, and that they leave this school year, the end of it, in a better situation than they started.
And last but not least.
My name is Dwight Conley. I too graduated from Southeast. I have 2 older sisters that graduated from here. In fact, one sister was the first graduating class, and then everybody moved this school from all the other locations. We used personal pickups until when I was in the 6th grade, we moved the school over Christmas break. So lock, stock, and barrel, everything. So that was quite an interesting deal. We lost a few drafting tables on the way here, but we fixed it. So I had 3 daughters that graduated Southeast, 1 in 9, 1 in 12, and 1 in 14. Got on board, and after they were out, I'm just a better, more objective board member than I would have been if I had kids here. I really admire how they can keep it objective when you do that. And for everybody, it's a different time. I'm the multimedia specialist at Great Plains Manufacturing. So if you go on the website, you see videos on. I was responsible for 95% of those. I also, the affliction that Jim has, I farm also. And so it's how I spend my vacation, and it helps me too in my job in marketing also. So my hope for this is that we progress, that we move forward with education, and the kids don't lose a year, and that they we make them brighter and smarter and all those things that we want them to do. And I think that's our biggest challenge. We need to reduce it down to the core, moving forward with the education, the other things, we'll let that pass. But yeah, my biggest hope is that we can not have those kids miss a year.
We'll just keep going on the same path, if you don't mind, Elaine.
Okay, I'm Elaine Stein. This is your new chemistry and physical science teacher.
This is my daughter, Addie. I am teaching physical science and chemistry this year. I am new to the science field. The last 15 years I've been teaching math or in some sort of math education field, whether it's teaching or as an instructional math coach. So I get to see a lot of crossover between math and the science world, so it's kind of exciting. I think that I am not a Southeast graduate. My husband was, but I am from Salina. I grew up in Salina and went to Salina Central. So my husband coins me as the city girl, which is hilarious. But yeah, no, we live out in the country, so he's kind of converted me to the country life, and I enjoy it very much. As far as what I'm looking forward to, I think that there's going to be a lot of heavy stuff as we start, and so I am hoping for a lot of fun. I'm hoping for, kind of happiness and rejuvenation, having some excitement, even though it may not look exactly what we thought of, but making kind of the most out of what we've been getting and focusing on what's good and what's going well instead of what it used to look like and how it may not look like that right now. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Trying to do.
I'm Dylan Goodell. No, I'm not in high school anymore. I graduated from Smoky Valley in 2015 and just graduated in May from K-State. I'll be teaching studies at the 7th grade level and at the sophomore level, freshman, sophomore, I guess. I live out on Burma Road, just south, about a mile from White Cross Hill on Little 40, where I help raising cattle and stuff. I love the South area. I grew up in this area, helping farm, and I know the culture, and I respect the culture. And it's very similar to Smoky Valley, so I'm excited to be here and kind of embrace that kind of lifestyle again. What I'm most looking forward to this year is, number one, getting my first year of teaching out of the way.
Got lots of goodness.
Yeah, I really do. And number two is just trying new things, trying a lot of project-based learning, and trying to get kids thinking instead of sharing worksheets and stuff. So that's kind of what I'm excited for.
I'm Andrea Lilly. I grew up in Salina. I was a staff graduate. My husband was a Central graduate, so we decided to move out here. I 2 weeks ago here. One's going to be a sophomore and one will be a 6th grader. I spent 15 years at Stewart in Salina teaching kindergarten. So this year I'm going to be 2nd grade. So I'm excited to see how different it is, and I have the remote students, so I'm also excited to see how that's going to look in the classroom. So I'm very happy to be out here, and it's nice to be where my kids are. My 6th grader is very excited to ride to school with me now, so that's kind of nice to have that time with him too. So.
Hey, I'm Neil Zuzis, and I'm the new high school social emotional counselor. I worked in Salina since 1983. Worked at St. Francis Community Services at the St. Francis Academy when I started. It's changed names several times. Worked there for many years as a therapist, family therapist, different things like that, different roles. And then I've been at Sacred Heart most recently for the last 10 years as the high school counselor there. This opportunity opened up. I had heard so many good things about this community, and the opportunity to work as strictly the social emotional counselor rather than wear 10 different hats like I did at Sacred Heart really appealed to me. And it's never too late in life to take on new challenges and learn new things, and that's what I'm about. I always have been, and so here I am. And I guess my hope is that I can meet the expectations and the standards that's been established here at Southeast Saline, not only at the school, but the community and the culture. So I'm really happy. The last week and a half, it's been really great. So great staff. Okay.
Well, I'm Brady Keith. I'm going to be teaching sophomore English, and I'll also be teaching publications. I'm from Larned originally, and I went to Southwestern College. And my wife is the youth director at Trinity United Methodist Church, and so I've gotten to know a lot of the Southeast families through that. Lindsay has lots of connections, so therefore I have Southeast connections. I also work at Ag Service in the summers, and so I'm around some of the farmers who have students at the school. And all I hear is great things. I'm really excited to be part of this community. And I guess main thing, my main hope for this year is just that we can kind of look back on this time, in 20 years and kind of be proud of what we did rather than feeling like we dropped the ball or didn't do enough. So that's kind of what I'm hoping we can do this year, is just not only maintain, but improve as well.
I'm Rhonda Wright, and most of you probably knew me as a counselor, but I'm starting as the secondary principal. So this is my first year as a principal. I've been around Salina a lot, and then out here at Southeast and wherever I've gone in my travels. For this year, I'm just really looking for collaboration and communication. That's the vision that Ms. Gorman and I have put forward to the staff, and we really want to work on collaboration, just K through 12, communication K through 12. And I'm just, excited to lead the staff, but really they're such a great staff, and just hopefully help them to go even further and make it a great year, no matter what that looks like.
I'm Patrick Schroeder, born and raised in Little River, Kansas, just down the road. Went to Emporia State, was on the track team there. I'm excited to get back in the classroom. I've been an administrator the last 13 years, so I know what her world is like, and I can't imagine taking that on in your first year. But just really excited to be back in the room, back in the classroom. I was just ready to move on from administration. So excited to be back in the room. I have a wife that teaches at South Middle, and I have two kids. Johnny will be a junior, and my son Tanner will be in 8th grade. And so excited to also be able to cross country and help with junior high boys basketball. Biggest thing I'm most looking forward to this year is just being back in the room. And as administrator, I've been lucky to see a lot of great teaching strategies from not just being in Ellsworth, but going to other schools and visiting. I visited Southeast when I was a principal down at Ellsworth. We kind of did a principals group, so we visited here and other league schools. And at conferences, I always got to hear great teachers come and present. So I'm just hoping to put some of those great ideas I've seen either firsthand or heard about from other teachers, just try to put those in place. So it'll be a challenge, I know. Getting back out of the admin role, but excited to be back with the kids on a daily basis.
Well, thank you all for taking some time to come. That we always are blessed to have for the positions that we have available. There's always competition, and so we are just thrilled to have the team assembled that we have, and just glad to get to work. If you need anything, these 7 people here are your greatest cheerleaders. We will do whatever we can to help you be successful with the students in our building. Use our emails or communicate with us. We want to be involved in education. If there's opportunity for us to interact with kids so that they can see us in a different light, we are happy to do that. Anything else you guys want to?
I'm not an actual cheerleader. I can't tell where it's going.
We can bully you.
Hello, Abby Plainville.
I think I've heard your voice.
For my life, I've learned my lesson.
encouraging with a loud voice.
I yell too loud.
Well, our meeting is supposed to start, so we're going to clear our plates and things. These are open meetings anytime. We are, that we have the ability now to stream them live, so you don't have to stay at school to see what's taking place in your school at these meetings, because they are live streamed now each month, so you can watch from the comforts of your own living room.
We have, want to watch.
We have had great participation. It's been a wonderful thing. So, anyway. All right. Take a break. Thank you.
For dinner.
Thank Kelsey, because she's the one who did the work.
Yeah.
Addie, try not to sweat too bad out there. We're gonna go to my room. Oh, you're lucky. Okay.
I know, I did. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, Roger, you want to take all that? No, those guys, that's gonna be the principal. There's gonna be 4 or 5. Okay. You want these chairs up there, correct? Or principal?
I thought you were connected.
Hey, what, Justin? We really dodged the bullet. That's
Kelsey, thank you so much.
south of.
Can I fall asleep here in 2 hours? I'm just gonna say it's the dinner I ate. Probably wasn't a good meal to have, but it's delicious. Great meeting. Delicious. It's a meal my family wish I prepared more
You
often.
gotta put them 6 feet apart.
You really?
Worked off. All right. Are we good? Thinking.
You're selling it here.
Thinking. Yep, down. Okay. Push the red button, Robert. And I was. All right. How are you?
You're welcome to.
Here we go. You know,
That's true. That's true.
if I gave her.
I like to see why you, that makes sure it comes to sleep. Cheers. Trying to.
Can I sit in the middle again?
Sure can. Maybe. I thought this is where we had to sit. So we had to sit in this order.
Where you're going. After more.
I'll just drive herself home.
Where's the nurse?
Oh, she didn't actually move in.
Oh, shoot, I forgot that. What's the short takeaway you got?
You can clean it up later.
I'm waiting on my next place. I put the strawberries on top of that cake.
No idea. Try getting out back in.
Yeah, and I can share mine if you want to.
Do you want to? I think it's not.
I've got an agenda. I just thought.
It's not connected visually, but I could do this.
I don't know. Now, that's, although that is a, I don't know.
When did you find out?
You do what you need to do. You're more important than me.
No such thing. I know mine's still charging. It won't even do anything. It just says.
You don't need it.
Oh, well,
Okay, well, it doesn't involve me, then
It does, but
I don't want to hear. Oh, you'll hear about it.
that's not on the calendar. Lack of communication is.
Go ahead, you got it, please. Waiting on technology.
Mm-hmm.
I keep, I click on one thing, it'll kick me out and go back to what I.
They can hear us well. Roger, can you see everyone you need to see?
I don't see, Sharif is no longer, well, you're right there. Why are you not on my list?
Or my board docs. My dad's been filling too, so.
David's not in.
It is meeting night. We're trying. Their servers. Can you see him in my window though? Visibly here? I guess, does that work?
Sure.
Okay. We're gonna go ahead and call the meeting to order. I'm standing and joining in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
And Jill's not.
Yeah, my computer's not on yet. There's another Chromebook in there, because I didn't use it. Okay,
I went in through an email,
you got it?
maybe, I'm asking to join.
Roger will let you.
Well, they want to.
Okay, I see your icon. You are present. Okay, the consent agenda, we approve the agenda. Is there any amendments?
I move we approve the agenda as presented.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those say aye. Motion carries. Okay, consent agenda. Is everything good on there? Anybody need to pull anything off? There were some revisions to the minutes. That happened today, if you didn't look at those. I don't know what they were. What? No, actually, one of us hasn't actually approved our goals yet. We're doing that tonight. And the other one was the way the motions that our last meeting ended with the resignation, breach of contract conversation. If there aren't any changes, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, item 3.1 under budget hearing. We approved this budget for publication on July 30th. Is that the right date? So we have our 14 days of publication time. And now we just need to vote. Did you get any feedback from the community?
I had one rather lengthy phone call, explaining the different pieces and parts. And, it was just a lot of questions that really reflect how complicated the budget is. One of the primary things, that we talk about every year here is just because we budget a certain number of dollars doesn't mean we intend to spend that number of dollars, but that we have to budget it or we can't spend it in an emergency. So some of those numbers look like we're making huge jumps in spending, and in fact, we're just giving ourselves the authority in case we want to or need to, intending to spend all of them.
So just as a refresher, we did drop the LOB percentage, and we did that way back. A long time ago, that's April, May. And we dropped that to 27.5%. And then we did drop our capital outlay mill levy from 7 to 6 mils. If there are no corrections or changes, is there a motion to approve the budget?
Move we approve the budget.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor of approving the 2020-2021 school year budget, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And be sure to get the 2021 on there because we need this year to end quickly. All right, public forum, we did have 2 items. I know the text is frozen, so I don't know which is which.
I got COVID. Oh.
Yeah, I can't even get it.
Could you print us some agendas, please? Maybe?
Yeah.
Because you can't get any either.
I'll try. I need an agenda. Oh, we get
I got the central easy one, but it doesn't,
That's all. Oh, that doesn't have to
doesn't
detail.
have it split out.
Is yours have the detail? No. But I have that. So I don't know which is that.
The first one is the student.
Okay, okay. So just for the audience's knowledge, this time is allocated specifically for our public to be able to give us information. It's not really an interactive time, but it gives you the opportunity to voice concerns from the district. And so we have the LaForte family that wanted to come and address the board and decision with an out-of-district request. So you have the floor. You will have 3 minutes. Yeah.
All right, my name is Chelsea LaForte, and I'm here today to try to get my daughter Bradley Putman LaForte into Southeast to join her other 2 siblings that go here, Brooklyn and Creighton LaForte. I do understand that there was an enrollment deadline for out-of-district students. However, I was unaware of that at the time and thought we could just enroll her at the same time as we did the other 2. I would like for Bradley to be a part of this school, not only because it's a great school, but because I would like for all of our children to attend the same school. With COVID, I wanted to limit the exposure our children would have, and sending them to separate schools only puts them and the rest of my family at a higher risk for exposure. Not only would they be in separate schools, but separate districts, which would mean they wouldn't have the same days off for conferences, snow days, and service days, and that just conflicts with mine and my husband's work schedule. I hope you guys take that into consideration, and thank you for listening.
Thank you so much for making the time to come out. Thank you. If there are changes to our decision, that'll be made later in the meeting, and you're welcome to watch. You can do that in open session with a vote, or you can certainly follow up with Mrs. Foreman or Kelsey tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay, and then we have requested audience from Citizens National Bank.
Stan Heaney with me today. He's the president of Citizens State Bank. We have 6 branches, so he oversees all of them. And so I just want to come out today and basically say, you know, we are ready to go live with everything with the transition from being to State Bank to Citizens State Bank. There's a couple roadblocks, whatever you want to say, with some user agreements and stuff. That was basically the only thing that we really wanted to kind of get some clearance and some guidance on. But besides that, the check reader has been installed. Came down here last week and sat down with Lindy, and the business banking software that we got for you guys is the exact same thing that Phoenix State Bank was using. So no one's going to have to learn new software. No one's going to have to learn anything. You know, it's the same processing, same uploading for the ACH badges, all that kind of stuff. It's the same exact format. So Lindy was pretty excited to see that because she was, you know, and actually the check reader that we bought to install at Lindy's desk is the exact same one that she already ran. So nothing changed. There was one thing Amy was going to get with Roger on was the parameters for IP restrictions. And so I don't know if was she able to get into contact with you and you guys discuss what the IP restrictions that you guys wanted, or that's really, we're ready to go live. Basically, just flipping the switch. We just need those ACH agreements and user rights agreements, and we're 100% ready to go. But we got to have those things so we know which parameters each and every user has authority to use, whether that's, the IP restriction was the biggest one. So we just wanted to make sure that that was one that got handled before we let loose to all the users for it. So what was your guys' consensus on?
I don't remember what we just said. I left it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so that's the only piece we're really missing to go live. So I guess I don't know if you guys know what the IP restrictions are. Basically, when she runs payroll, an IP restriction on our end is basically setting parameters on certain IPs. So for instance, the school, that's the one I have set up right now. I got with Andy and I got the district IP address so she could run payroll at the school. Before she had the ability to run payroll at home or wherever, she could connect to public Wi-Fi and run payroll. And so that was something that, we felt, was a bit of a risk. And so we're kind of waiting on the decision to set those restrictions because it's an important one, if you don't have the correct software to protect, those credentials or whatnot, that is something that could be compromised, So that is something that, what we want to do above all is protect the district money, and so in doing so, those IP restrictions are something that we find important. And so she said she's going to talk with you about it. So it's one of those things where she said she wasn't really wanting the restrictions because she didn't have before, and so she could run payroll from wherever,
So how many IP addresses can you enter?
As many as you can want, yeah.
But you can't just, so I'm not very techy sometimes, so help me understand. So we can enter the school, her house IP address, if we're getting home that day, or a handful, but you can't, she's at the public Wi-Fi, like the public library or Starbucks, you can't predict that IP address, right?
Correct, right, yeah, correct. And that's the thing.
So help us understand what the risk is of doing transactions.
Somebody get a hold of $5 million.
Yeah, I mean, that's potentially exactly what could happen, Stan, he's pretty tech savvy, and he got a lot of information when it comes to, cybersecurity. One of the biggest forms of, social engineering attacks is through, venues like public Wi-Fi, putting your credentials in a place that, is not protected, not having the right software to protect your information and stuff. And so, that is, you're exactly right.
Stan, correct if I'm wrong, couldn't she VPN in and shouldn't she be secure if we had a set up as a VPN?
Right. Yeah.
So we need to get up a shell set up and set up as a VPN, and then she can stay at home and do that. Would that make her?
You probably want that on a certain machine.
Exactly.
Clouds or like on a laptop or something like that, that just protects you the first machine. You can't. By now, like there's no control on IPs. By now, what we have layered is the IP address has to bounce back, and so it's protection. You don't have that.
So I really appreciate you guys coming and bringing this information to us. However, it really is the job of our superintendent and our IT director. So if you'll just continue to work through them, and we will get updated on how that is resolved. It's not an agenda item tonight to make any formal decision, nor would it be appropriate for the seven of us to make a decision about an IP address. But we just encourage you to continue working with our professionals, and we'll work with them to make sure that happens. Good to know that that's the last piece of the puzzle to iron out.
Is that the last to the puzzle?
Those user agreements, absolutely. The user agreements they're one and the same. They have to sign up, basically giving parameters to each user.
And you're just waiting on us for that information. And I know you guys have done some. I heard about the check scanner. We were informed about that a little bit. The software you mentioned is something that is new to you guys or new to us?
Yeah. So that software, it was an investment for us, but that was one of the things We wanted to make sure that, the transition was seamless and that no one was having to learn new software. So the software we bought for the check reader was like, it was like $10,000. The check reader was like $500. So it was, an investment that we wanted to make sure the transition was seamless, and so that way no one's, like I said, having to learn new software, having to do anything differently. We wanted you guys to be banking the same way you bank with Business State Bank, which is
Local. Thank you. That's our goal too.
I will comment, I am disappointed that we weren't running a VPN before, because I even know that. I know.
We will have further conversation about this.
Thank you for what you guys have done on the backside to, make it secure.
I appreciate that.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
So do you want to agenda?
Okay. Yes, still stand up on board docs. So next thing on the agenda is the classified handbook, well, actually all the handbooks, the classified with them. And
I've got an extra set here.
I didn't take one. That was white.
Wait, you want one?
No, that one.
I had just sent a couple of notes from staff last night that we need to be sure that if our title is the IT director, that it's the IT director throughout and not the director of educational technology. There's two different references there in that handbook. And then also we added a position, it's shared work with Emmy. And the treasurer position, we did that a year ago, and her job description is not in that book. So we need to be sure that job description is added as a classified employee. And then I had a question about the practice of classified staff not being able to use leave days on our scheduled days off. So like when we have certified staff in parent-teacher conferences, the handbook states that our classified staff cannot use their discretionary days on those days. Is that because they're here to work?
No, because it's not a work day for them. So that would be an off calendar day. And that's the thing with policy here for a long time.
Yeah, I've never taught it before.
That they cannot take a day off during the day off. So they're not scheduled to work in between the holidays. They cannot take discretionary days in between the holidays. They're not scheduled to work over Thanksgiving vacation. They can't take discretionary days during Thanksgiving vacation. They're not scheduled to work during teacher conferences. They can't take a discretionary day during teacher conferences. It's only on the calendar days they're supposed to be in session. And that's the way the policy's been for a long time.
Thank you.
So if you're already off, why would you ask for a day off?
It's not paid.
Gotcha. Okay, now I'm catching up now.
Okay. That was all.
Vacation today.
Did anybody else have anything on the handbook?
I didn't.
Is there a motion to approve?
Are we gonna approve them all at once, or?
Your decision.
I move we approve the handbooks as amended by Lori for suggestions for this coming 2021 school year.
Second.
Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, I think there's 3 action items and the printed one only has 2. Is that right?
My Word docs just came up. I'm gonna try to refresh. Your opening plan is next.
Well, kind of. Yes, okay, reopening plan is next. I know there were some last minute changes today with the reopening plan, specific around some health recommendations from Mrs. Rogers. Is there anything you wanted to note on those?
Biggest change, a lot of it was just cleaning up some language and making it a little more direct instead of, streamlining it a little bit, making some grammatical or formatting changes. Most of it was pretty minor. The biggest change in the document is changing the temperature of concern for exclusion from 100.4 to 100 even.
And why is that being done?
We are bombarded with multiple recommendations from multiple sites, and the CDC was at 100, and a different document was at 100.4. And so we decided to roll back and go with the more official one at 100. It's consistent throughout all of our documents.
And then a new document that was added sometime today is our league expectations. Do you want to go through that, Wayne?
Well, what we'd had was a Zoom meeting amongst our ADs, principals, and we had an example from the Mid-East League, which is Silver Lake, Riley County, over in that area, on some of the things they were going to do. And then we evaluated their document and just made adjustments to how we think our league would work. One of the things on there is that we still gave some autonomy to each of the schools to look at their own situation. And there's a statement on there that each school can make changes to it. Our communication is really pretty good amongst the AD principals. So that was just the direction that we're hoping to go with them this week.
Right. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
Sure.
Have any of our league schools decided to limit fall activities?
No. Well, other than Ellsworth now, they're on
quarantine.
they're on quarantine.
So they're not playing fall sports.
They're on a 2-week quarantine, and but they will begin their practices on August 26th, rather than us. Who started today?
They're on quarantine for everything then, or just that?
Just their football.
So
Their others are going. Their others are rolling. Football and is it volleyball?
I think so. Wait.
Their weight training. Okay. Yeah.
So it was nice that Swains County put together the quarantine and isolation process for us to have to follow and some guidance there, as well as there's a group of medical providers that developed community gating criteria for KSCE that was included in our packet, and that is actually, they're not policies or guidelines for communities to use and communities to follow. So looking at local infection rates and making decisions about how activities continue and how schools continue. Were there any questions from the board?
If a student has symptoms, is the family self-checks?
the quarantine.
Self-checks, and I said, I have 2 symptoms, so I'm gonna they have 3 children that go to school here. This one child has symptoms, I'm gonna keep them home. Are they to send the other 2 that are symptom-free, or are they to keep them home as well?
That's a good question. The safest thing to do is to keep them all at home. But it really isn't required.
Not required.
No, I don't believe it is. Because again, we're going to have so many different reasons that could happen.
Yes.
If in fact there are more than one, and again, the safest thing is to keep them all at home. if that is a case in which you're gonna get that person tested, then the entire house is supposed to be quarantined until the test comes back.
No matter if they have symptoms or not, that entire household, if they believe if they're going to have the process of being tested, all the siblings are to stay home until test results come back.
Yep.
Is that statement being made clear anywhere in our plans or documentation? I've tried to read it, but I have not found it, but that doesn't mean it's not there.
And I can't tell you off the top of my head, we've had so many discussions round and around about how all this works. We can certainly look back through it and make sure how clearly we have expressed that part of it. We have focused mainly on the kid with symptoms, but again, if you are in close contact, it makes sense that the rest of them have been exposed to whatever it is that.
You could be asymptomatic.
That's true.
Yeah. Really, in that Plains County document, letter C outlines that.
Okay.
So it's that close contact, and so thinking about at home, generally, our family members are gonna be close contacts. So, I think that that's really our guidance for our families.
Well, I just want us to think about it. I think we've done it's so much, I know. And I think we've done a good job now of thinking of how the leadership team think about our in-school traffic flow and things. And I think as we get closer and closer to school starting, it might be helpful, just again, in your communication, Roger, with the patrons of trying to think about these circumstances of what you're a parent also, questions you might have that aren't necessarily obvious of what the answers are. Maybe they are obvious, maybe I'm just slow, but I think there's going to be just situations and any opportunity to kind of express here are best practices that we would ask us as a Southeast family to follow to continue to communicate.
I've expressed a lot of concern about the extracurricular activity, and I think with good reason. I wrote something down here, and I'm going to share it. Why would we allow any extracurricular activity that does not follow the same social distancing guidelines we ask the students to follow during the normal school day, before, during, and after any competition or event? To me, that's because it's part of school, and at some point, you cannot protect everything. Are you going to tell kids that work here that they can't have a part-time job in the evenings? That don't follow social distancing rules? At some point, Dwight, we have to draw a line as to where our responsibilities end, and you could pinpoint and pick different individuals and groups till the cows come home, and you're not going to protect the whole world. I didn't. I said, I'm saying if you're all the guidelines, then they wouldn't be allowed to compete. Are they going to be able to follow those guidelines that we ask our students every day to follow? We can't control what you do out here. We can't control what happens at the school. What you just said appears that we are putting those kids in extracurricular above the kids at the school. No, I'm not. I'm saying that this school, Southeast, is the sum of the whole. Activities, whether it's clubs or athletics, are just as valuable as the 8 to 3:30 when it comes to making our kids better humans in the end. And Keisha has report after report that will tell you just that. The dropout rates, the kids that commit suicide are kids that are uninvolved. And now we're wanting to just intentionally make it so that they can't be involved. That ain't what I said. I said as long as... Well, we can't pick and choose who gets to play and who doesn't. That ain't what I did. I just said you follow the guidelines that we tell you at the school. To me, that is picking and choosing. Because of the sport or activity. That is picking and choosing.
I'm fine with whatever.
I think we are following all the recommendations that are out there. And until, for me personally, until I'm proven otherwise and we have issues locally, I'm not willing to say our students' mental health is not any more valuable than their physical health. Because there are kids dying on the vine right now because they don't have activity.
And we have followed
That's just where I'm at.
we have followed our governor and our state from day one of this COVID, and now we're going to go against that if that's what we do.
I know you would hate to go against the governors.
Well, I'd love to, but all I'm saying is, as a board, when we talk about the confusion of parents, the anxiety, and as a board, to me, at times we create that confusion because we have towed the line with everything that we have been told to do at this point, and now that Keisha says you're free to play. Now we're going to back out of that and start going our own way, is the way I would see that. And I don't know that we are the people to make that choice. I guarantee you, if our governor even picks up a hint of things going south, she'll close the whole ball of wax down in a heartbeat. She's proven that before. So I'm just not in favor of starting to, at this point, add criteria to what we do.
I appreciate where you're coming from, but I've also received emails coming the other way saying, how could you do this?
Well, I haven't got an email yet, so.
No, and I have. And there's concern the other way with their kids that may catch it because of this. My point is, and I've always said, let's not put the restrictions in going to school then. If we're just gonna do what we want to, then let's not make it tough to come to school because we're exposing people to other schools and we are doing things on close contact, so let's just go. If that's our position, because you can't have it both ways, Steve.
I don't believe I'm looking at it from both ways. That's not the way I see it. I see it that we're following the state's guidelines.
I'm just saying that the guidelines don't match each other. Keisha punted. And there are schools that have decided we're out, by the way.
That could be.
Newton's one of them.
Yep. And that's their local board's choice. Newton is also a lot larger district than ours, and they have got a whole different set of circumstances.
I'm citing them as
and at some point, I'll be honest with you, at some point, if it's shown to me that you can directly link an outburst here, or what do they call it, a cluster here, because of an activity, I'll be more than happy to say no more.
It's too late then.
It's too late. We were just talking about people getting tested. I've got people at work that have felt ill, so we sent them home. They're 10 days from the date that they felt bad.
Yeah.
Their quarantine is up before they ever get a result. That's no one person's fault. That is just the way this is all working. And I've got a guy right now that was tested, but he has not received an all clear. He's been gone for 8 days now, and the CDC, his local county health department, not a soul has contacted him to do contact tracing. So we can't. We'll always be the dog chasing his tail.
Yeah, I'm normally not go the safe route. I don't like this at all, but there are 4 people that haven't said anything.
Yeah.
And I sure would like to hear from them.
I don't think we're going to know what we did right and wrong for another 6 to 12 months. And I think we have to listen to people that know more than that. I don't know really who that is because it's hard to find that one line of this for sure or this for sure. So I don't have a good answer either way.
I don't know, they have to be smarter than us. It's our decision, whether, you know, but I don't know that. They have an expertise,
Yeah,
though,
that is-
that we don't have.
I don't know, guys. I mean, I always appreciate good, healthy discussion and appreciate both of you engaging in it. I think I've said it before. I think it's about trade-offs. I visited with Coach Gephardt just a little bit today, this morning, about some of those things that they're already dealing with in football and changing up some things in their practices. And yes, am I concerned about our young men going to different communities and having close physical contact and how that can impact our ability to hold school? Absolutely, I am. Absolutely, that's a big risk. But it's an incredibly big trade-off also to take away access to those activities. And that's a tremendous trade-off. So I don't know what the right answer is for me today. I don't think that I'm going to be willing to make that trade-off today. But I think it's something that is very worthy of continued discussion.
It's just not football.
That was the example in my mind.
Yeah.
That would be the fall sport.
Well, you talk about close proximity, volleyball can also be.
Yeah.
So is band and so is vocal and, yeah, could be. But they're not going to competitions generally. And are mixing with other schools. They will throughout the year. Not like would be with the fall sports now. So.
How about the other two?
It's, yeah, I mean, it's a fine line. Unfortunately, that's where we're at with a lot of stuff. And I just group all activities together and it gives us employable adults. Whatever activity you're in, I feel like you need it as a secondary student. I understand the hazards of being around people. Both of my mother-in-laws have not left their house since March. I know I'm very lucky to have two husbands, but no, my husband has two moms. They're both very sick.
That was good for you to clarify for me.
They're both very sick, and you know, Clint's mom said, if you would have ever asked me that I would go more than a week without shopping at Target, it would have never happened. And she hasn't gone since March. So it is making choices. You know, she doesn't get to do stuff the rest of us do, and we don't get to see her. And same thing with the stepmom. So I don't think we're putting someone over another by saying we're allowing activities, since we do have a good amount of kids that are staying home to not be exposed. That's the way I look at it. You do have a choice, and everyone in the United States has a choice, just like my cousin said, she works at Dillon's, and she's like, you have a choice to wear a mask. Our door says wear a mask. And if you don't wear a mask, then you are taking a chance of infecting me, and I'm trying to support my family. And if you don't want to wear one, then you go shop somewhere that you don't have to wear a mask. So we're all making choices every day because nobody wants to be sick. It's just a really critical situation, I think, both ways. And I have been watching a young football player. I know it always goes back to football, which it shouldn't, but from Piper, and they've canceled their season. And it's his senior year, and he was getting ready to have a record
for himself over 500 tackles in that school, and that's a large school. And now I'll foster him, bring him here, you know, and both of his grandmas are at Beloit, and everyone's saying he can come live with me. He is gonna go live somewhere where he can play football, period. Because he wrote this big letter and it said, this is what I've worked my whole life for. I'm not gonna give it up. I'm gonna go to college and play football. So I feel for those kids, and I feel for the kids that are here and can get sick, but I don't think I could not have activities. It just seems like it's part of their education. It builds character. And I think we all know as managers that you know if someone's been an athlete or not. And or in a club, you know if they've been coached. And I was not in FCCLA or FFA, but I'm assuming when you don't win or get a 1, they coach you and tell you how to be better. So that is huge. That's everyday life. So.
I just, not for sure what to think on everything. I have my opinions, but I just wish we weren't put in this position.
Well, we are. That's why we get paid the big bucks.
That's my point about Keisha.
Yeah. I'm on both sides.
Well, there's no formal action needed unless we are changing the direction we're going. So.
One thing I want to close with is to be clear, I want them to play. Don't get me wrong. I'm just struggling with telling them they can do something different than we tell our kids that they can do in this school.
It feels like a double standard.
It is a double standard. Just call it what it is. We want them to play. But don't hide behind that we're treating everybody the same, because you're not.
I don't think anybody said that.
Yes, we did. I'm good.
So we don't need to do anything of
I'd
formal.
like permission to take the word draft off the document.
Okay. All right, is there a motion?
With the understanding, again, it is a little.
That it's gonna be a fluid document.
I move that we publish our formal reopening plan as removing the word draft and continue to take staff and community feedback and change.
Response to data, yeah. We have language in there that indicates that at the very beginning, so. Second. Okay, is there any more discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Motion carried. 6-1. Okay, next on the agenda, board goals, values, and vision and mission statement. So we worked these up on July 30th. And that's been in progress since January 30th. So we just wanted to have some time to think about those statements before we finally adopted them at the end of the long work session. So are there any changes to the document as we work through it? Can that be projected? Thank you. We talked about taking that last statement off the bottom on the, if we achieve our goals, the things that will go away. They were the things that we were concerned about that led us to the setting of the goals.
Where's that?
This is the bottom of the page. Keep scrolling down.
So if we leave those there, as I thought about, in some ways, I see a little bit of value in those actually, because it's warning signs that says, if we're seeing this, we're not there yet.
Keep the benchmarks for sure.
Yes, so I kind of, as I thought about it more, don't mind them being there. I don't think we need to publish it anywhere, because we only need to publish that these are the things we're not, that we need to go away. But internally for us, I appreciate them continuing.
Any other thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I guess if we achieve our goals, which we can achieve our goals, but then we've got to maintain them. So it's not just do it and stop, so I don't think it should go away.
There's been several times in the last 2 weeks that I've wanted to talk about these things. With staff, when we've been together, it was great this morning that be able to do that. And my intention would be to draft a memo, I guess, that we would send on behalf of the Board of Education to the entire staff, talking about this vision and the mission statement, the goals, so that we're all on the same page, and that's communicated directly from us. There's no other discussion. Is there a motion for approval?
I just want to make sure that on the vision statement, we're making a change there on those last 3 words, right? I was thinking back as I looked at this a little bit more about the comments about leadership that we have right now. I think those are relevant. I like how the potential lines up with what we're saying in our mission statement. But I keep hearing what Jimmy, I think, Jill, somebody said there about leadership. Again, these things drive me a little bit crazy, because I think student potential is something that the students set, and it's our job to help them reach their top potential, not maximize their potential. So I just have a little bit of a hurdle on that verb, I guess.
I guess I
might be making it too complex, probably.
I like the maximize because we are helping make sure that they do reach their own potential, and then with all the individual courses of study and things like that we talk about, we're trying to maximize each individual child's potential. Is why I like that wording, because everybody wants to be a leader, but we need to maximize their potential of what they are capable of. Yes, that's why I like that.
Yes, and I see maximize it and help them reach it, which I guess is up to the student in some regards, right?
Well,
To reach their potential.
to reach their maximum potential, but I don't know if you can put that. I don't think it works
in many words.
Yeah.
What is my problem?
Well, I like the reaching maximum.
It's in the mission statement.
Yeah, so it's there.
But the rest, it was just a point to discuss. I want to share what was on my mind. So the rest of the board's fine with it. I'm okay.
I like it because it's a growth model, and that's what we're moving towards, that individualized education. Looking at every student as their own measuring stick. That you're going to learn differently, I'm going to learn differently, but it's our job to figure out how to make the most of those skills and help me reach and this maybe greater than I even thought I could do myself.
Yeah. Is it maximizing each student's potential? Does that help everyone? That really takes us to that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what our mission statement says.
No, I was looking at the vision statement.
Right.
I was at the vision, maximizing each student potential. I was just adding each in the
Student.
vision. Each, maximizing each student potential, but I'm fine either way.
You want to be in the singular or the plural?
I don't know.
That's what it is, so.
I'm good with how it is, Lori, maximizing student potential.
Is there a motion?
I move we adopt the goals.
Or a second? Second. Any more discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Can somebody give me what you want as a poster?
Everything except the vision, mission, and goals.
Better give me words. That way I don't make a mistake.
We'll take the word draft off and share a copy.
And just get me how you want it laid out, then I'll do a poster, try to do it quicker than I have.
Okay. Any board communication?
I have a few things, Lori. I attended the breakfast at the staff welcoming back this morning, enjoyed it. Lori gave a very nice talk about her family culture, talked about culture in her talk, which our board has talked about, and I appreciated the words she had to say. And I felt the event was good. I sensed a lot of awkwardness. Or maybe it was just me. I felt awkward. You know, usually we're able to serve coffee and help with the breakfast and stuff. We have to wear these masks. And I appreciate nonverbal communication, and so I can't, and it's hard for me to recognize people, and so I felt awkward, I guess. Maybe no one else did. But in the midst of that, Lori gave a really nice talk. I wanted to share with the board that Mr. Anderson stood up and thanked the board publicly amongst the staff on how well negotiations went this year. I appreciate him recognizing that. And then you all know that we had a robust discussion about our library program. Our new librarian, Mrs. Henry, stood up at the end of the staff portion this morning and gave a very nice presentation about the vision for the library and collaboration among teachers and what her vision for the library program is, kind of refreshed, renewed. And I thought it was very well received and very well done. I was very pleased to see her, especially after the robust discussion that we had in this boardroom and that our community had around that topic. I was very pleased to see her have that platform and take that opportunity to share that vision. So I was very pleased by that. I went and visited the library afterwards, and it even looks better than it did on our tour, and was very pleased with that. I also visited the playground out here, and our lead, the chairwoman of our committee, Stephanie Markle, was there, as she has been, I think, most days, it seems. And we had some issues with the swing set construction that we're working through, but the tires are in place, and I tell you, she's really gone above and beyond. Something I would like to discuss at a future time. I visited our kindergarten classrooms, saw, we've talked about class size there, and it's going to be a challenge. It is going to be a challenge. I feel frustrated still with the situation that we have put our students in and staff. It's going to be a challenge given just teaching kindergarten in general, and given the data that we've looked at in the past at optimal class sizes K through 2 being in that 15 to 16 range, let alone in the absence of COVID and all of this and masks and all of those things. So those are some highlights from me this morning. One note, just this evening, my wife got a call from another parent that was not informed that fall sports were starting today. It's not on the calendar or something. And so I'm curious how, if that's happened to others, if we're going to hear more about that.
I just got a text too about junior high with my text,
Yeah.
junior high sports.
I just, I feel like I've said it every dang meeting, but I can't. Communication, and a lot of times if we're trying to communicate with students, for some reason it doesn't always get to parents. So the more that, I know we leave this up to each coach individually, but gosh dang it, this communication thing is going to make or break us on our ability to be successful at this. And, so that was disappointing to hear that we've had some of that, despite our efforts. That's all I have, Lori.
Thank you. So returning families
Yes.
that participated in enrollment?
Yes.
That's where I got my information. Parents, but I get an email.
But it's not on the calendar though?
I didn't see anything.
Guess maybe we didn't know for sure what we were gonna do.
Maybe
I think it's on the calendar that gets mailed out, but it's not on the calendar,
the digital
the
calendar.
digital calendar. And then nothing came out. But I was told nothing came out on that sports website, on Facebook or anything. I just think we've got to do better communication. I know the kids got to take some responsibility, but how hard is it to shoot an email out to parents? It's not that hard anymore. It is for me, but the people that know how to do it, it's not very hard.
I got an email on which board.
But yeah, I feel like that's usually on the district calendar.
Which board did you get one on?
Junior high football. Well, we can't change the past. but
No,
we can
that's right. And I'm not
improve
pointing
for
any,
the
I'm not,
future, so.
don't mean to be complaining. I just want us all to know what
Be
happened.
aware, yep. Any other boards?
I'll just follow up with Justin on the playground. Stephanie has done a tremendous job of leading the way, of doing research, making sure the kids are going to be as safe as possible as we can with them playing per se. But I think everything looks good, and that mulch is crazy. So that should be a huge difference, that rubber mulch. So I think Mrs. Gorman and her staff will enjoy all of the works of that, and always let us know if you guys need something else out there, Mrs. Gorman.
Any other board? I know that the county recommended a portion of our $500,000 request. Can't remember how much was said, but like 140?
They cut about $60,000 to $80,000, but I requested a lot.
Yeah, we kind of shot for anything we thought we might need in the next 6 months, which is what we needed to do, and I was thrilled to see that. So that goes on to the state finance committee for their final approval, and I think it is September 5th before we'll hear whether that's been awarded or not. I participated in the Lunch and Learn last Wednesday, which reviewed the Attorney General's ruling on school boards and counties opting out of the mask order, which we have the authority to do. Also talked about that day the gating standards that were included in our handout. So, and again, just to remember that those are not statewide adopted policies, but they're guidelines for us to use and data for us to use as we're And then last Friday, I had the honor of representing the state of Kansas with the National School Board Association at the very first virtual delegate assembly, looking at National School Board Association policies, and that was quite a interesting experiment. So, it'll be nice to be back in face at some point. Do you have anything?
I'm good.
Okay, superintendent's report.
I did also mention something about the Sparks grant. With the initial round, we requested about $75,000 in reimbursements from our spent. And the second round requested about $540,000 in new spending. We're approved for about $470,000, combined total well over $500,000 that are being awarded for measures addressing COVID in our building. The one big issue about doing this is it's not official until the state approves it. The state is going to approve it for another 3 weeks, basically. And although we have ordered a fair amount of this material, there is that hesitation that the state will back off or cancel out anything, and then we would be stuck with the difference. So there is a little bit of hesitation with just going full steam ahead with spending this right out of the gate. We've had teachers in the building for about a week now. They are started on all of the changes in protocols and adjusting instruction and getting through professional development. They will be doing a lot of menu options for the next couple of days, which will include things like how to integrate technology, remote versus in person, and some of the things that we've actually moved forward with as far as spending of the Sparks money. Mind, professional version, what was the other one? What was the one, Brad? Nearpod, the professional version. Some of these companies pushed out free versions in the spring as a way of helping us get through the crisis situation we were in as we thrust ourselves into remote learning at the drop of a hat. And it was pretty good marketing on their part because we were able to discover which programs really were worth the money. And so we have upgraded several of those. Any questions?
What is mood swings on a stick?
Do you want to feel that, Ken?
Well, with having to wear these all day, kids not being able to see teachers' faces, I wish I would have brought one with me. I've had one for a long time, that I use in the classroom, it's just a smiley, like a popsicle stick.
Can I get one of those for work?
I have some extra.
Or take a picture and I'll make my own.
So it's got a happy face on one side and kind of a frown on the other. So, kind of a little bit more light.
Right.
Fun. Where did you find it?
It just says in here.
It's on our.
Oh, on your COVID on the.
Yeah, so I'm like, ooh, that sounds interesting.
I do want to go back before we go to the principal's report. I don't know if you guys saw, there was $60 million allocated from the CARES Fund specifically to expand broadband across the state of Kansas. I did reach out to Eric Nordstrom at Healthville, and they're trying to figure out ways that they can apply for those monies. We know we have pockets in our district that they haven't been willing to lay fiber to for population reasons. So hopefully that might be an answer, but 60 million, when you're talking about the population and the miles in our state, I don't know that that will actually take care of the issue, but it certainly could help. So.
Where is the fiber optic not in our district? I mean, because the people down there know where we're at.
Well, there are students that last year lived in a certain location that built a new house that, without identifying names.
No, I understand, that's fine, that's fine, so
There are pockets.
they
And
probably
that's
built
reason-
after,
Yeah.
after they came through when they did it. I get it.
They don't go any further north than Cloud either.
Right.
Cloud is the cutoff line.
Which then you would have nothing coming out.
You don't have any, there's nothing up along Country Club, no fiber optic, we don't.
Weird for water well, if that's what I thought. So just an awareness that we need to continue advocating for our homework gaps, if that is creating, inequity for our students that don't have access. We can provide them hotspots, but if they're in a place that doesn't have fiber or doesn't already have that opportunity for signal, it doesn't matter if we give them hotspots or not. And there are pockets, there's a few families that I know that that's happening. Okay, principal's report.
You go.
Sure.
So I was just reporting on the enrollment numbers is the only thing that I have to share. So right now with enrollment pretty much finished, I think. So seventh grade, we've got 50 total enrolled with 3 choosing remote. And then eighth grade, 61 total enrolled with 2 choosing remote.
And the 2 are included in the 61, correct?
Yeah, 61 is the total, 2 remote, so 59 clear on site.
And what'd you say remote on seventh grade was?
3,
3.
so 47 on site in 7th. So junior high, total, 111 students enrolled, 5 remote, so 106 on site. High school, we got 64 ninth graders with 5 choosing remote, and so 59 would be on site. 10th grade, 61 enrolled with 3 choosing remote, and so 58 on site. So one of those remote might go on site. They're very questionable, but right now they picked remote. Juniors, 11th grade, we've got 54 enrolled, 4 choosing remote right now, and so 50 on site. I have one of those that, we have some people who didn't finish all the forms on enrollment. Forms and demographics was a page where they picked remote or on site. So anybody who started the process but didn't do that page, we've been calling, we've been emailing, we've been trying to find out. So I have one in those 4 remotes that they say they're gonna do remote, but they can't do that form because they don't have internet at home. So we're having a discussion about how are you gonna do remote if you don't have internet to do this form? So that's what, the secretary that called today was told, and I'm gonna call the family. So, we'll see. But right now, that's what they told me, so that's what I'm doing.
So they in a location that they wouldn't have the fiber optic or just.
Yeah, they just don't have it.
I understand.
And then seniors, we've got 45 enrolled with 2 choosing remote, so 43 on site. We've got most of the new kids that have come in, contacted us, all enrolled. Counseling center is getting scheduled for completed and working on that. So I think we're good on enrollment right now in secondary. Or it's heavy. You said nothing?
Yeah.
310 total so far. 18 are remote. 39 in kindergarten, no remote. 42 in first grade, 2 remote. 46 in second grade, 7 remote. 32 in third grade, 2 remote. 49 in fourth grade, 1 remote, 63 in fifth grade, 2 remote, and 49 in sixth grade, 3 remote, possible 4. I don't have a definite answer yet. And we have 8 who have started enrollment. There are quite a few forms that they have to do. They're not completely finished, but we know they're coming. They started, and
They're not included in those numbers.
they are included in the numbers. Haley will be making phone calls tomorrow. I've emailed, made phone calls. We just have to text her.
Anything else? Staff interactions, last, everybody day?
Yeah, I think that's pretty positive and happy to be back.
Yeah.
Ready for kids. Ready for all this stuff to be over with and ready to get.
So yeah, there's very positive attitude of starting and learning the new things and looking forward to the next days, and they're gonna do some more training with different programs and things that they can use to help with the remote and the online. So
Teachers getting in with supplies or any special things for school.
it started coming in
we hope,
today.
yeah, we've got some in a little bit.
Yeah, I wondered about that, you know, all those purchase orders and things, the orders placed, like, we're having some supply issues at CAPS and our orders are nothing near what school will be, so.
They all have my name on it, just going to my office. Birthday,
Are you hearing that from anyone as far as
Oh, yeah.
supply and demand and stuff?
Yeah, we have supply issues all over.
Every school was ordering the same thing.
Yeah.
I got a question about enrollment. Are we supposed to be able to find our fees and what we have on meal plans on Power School now? And when will we be able to see that? Are we gonna get an invoice or? I've never heard a thing since I enrolled and that money's already spent, because that was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Happy New Company.
Obviously, there are some glitches with the program. Everything in there should be uploading and compiling, but, again, our biggest priority is having everything ready for the teachers and students. So, some of that is gonna be secondary, to get that resolved. It should be working. It isn't, 100% yet. And so that's just gonna take a little time to get the bugs worked out.
Is that our staff or is that Power School or?
It really is Andy working on most of that as far as the back end of it with tech support and whatever, making those calls and pushing through those things. And, you know, we learned a lot through this process on where the glitches were and what needs to be resolved. And we will go back through those things here sooner rather than later, so we remember where the biggest glitches were. This should be a relatively simple process next year because we will have weathered these glitches and we should have them all resolved by then.
We talked about doing this, having online enrollment 2 years ago, and we didn't do it because you couldn't pay for it. We had no way to do it. Well, I mean, it appears as though to me, we're stuck in the same situation.
We've got a way to pay for it. The problem is the tabulation side of it. And, you know, there's, some of those things are very difficult for the computer to follow. Do you have an instrument? Do you rent an instrument? Do you want a yearbook? Do you, those types of things, to get it to go through that process and click the right box and then tabulate. And there were certain things in there that it could not do. For example, we have a provision in our textbook fees, that there's a family limit that gets up to a certain spot, caps. Computer, Andy's explanation simply cannot link that across different members of the family and cap that. And so we are trying to work through some of those things as best we can, with the understanding we may just have to turn around and refund some of those, or manually go in and reduce those for those families who capped.
So are we gonna have this done by the time school starts, or I'm just trying to, are we gonna be semester before we get it figured out, or I ballpark idea?
I certainly would hope not semester, I would think.
Well, I would hope not. I mean, we ought to be doing some paper invoices or something. If we can't get it going by the time school starts, I think folks ought to know what their kids' education is gonna cost them for the year before they send them. Not that they've got a whole lot of choice. And that's not the way that should have sounded, but I wouldn't send my kid if I didn't have a pretty good idea of what I was going to be paying for, whether it's school or church camp or whatever. I just think it's kind of wrong to be not having this information out by now, personally. And I've only got 2 to worry about, so.
Well, you know what your fees are, but we don't have the total.
I get that,
Yeah.
but I don't know where I stand as far as my meal plan from last year, and I know I've got money left. But when I look at Power School and I'm being told that it's all gonna be on Power School, and I see 0, I'm taking it in the shorts as far as I'm concerned.
So that could be added to a frequently asked questions list.
And like I said, the thing that bothers me is we talked about this 2 years ago and decided not to do it because we couldn't make a way for folks to pay. And now we're right here.
Steve, I've been involved with some of that, this pricing grain drills, but there are certainly ways to do exactly what you want. Everyone is treated, say, at the dealership, you can set the caps, they just need to be put in. But it's gonna take a while to get it right. It's like a quote pro type of situation where you're setting it up. But it's something we ought to strive for and have this fixed by next summer. Because we can hire somebody to do that for us and create that program, and it can happen.
Well, when you say next summer, what do we do for this year?
Well, I'm saying I don't know the way to fix it for this year. I was just trying to set a goal, Steve.
Well, yeah.
I agree that we shouldn't be in this position. I'm all with you.
Well,
I don't think anybody intended to be in that position.
No.
But it's a
Can we
matter of
come up to the
capacity.
office and write a check tomorrow?
Good.
Will somebody know what we owe and what we have?
All part.
There you go.
All we need to know is know the balance in the account, Steve.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so, like with lunch, just like what you're referring to, everyone's refunded for the time that we didn't have school. Is that how
I
that
never
works?
Well, they're not refunded.
No,
They're
no.
sitting in an account.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Still in.
Yeah, that's what he's looking for, is that kind of.
Well, and then I agreed to pay more for this year to add to and that'll be another issue, is a family account. Is they gonna be able to link out brothers and sisters on a lunch account?
Even if they have different names, last names?
All right, well, if you could just keep us updated on that progress. That'd be good. And the district, the parents, would be great. All right, any other questions for our principals?
Yes, I do. And maybe not a question, but a recommendation, something that I've seen on social media for senior night is move it to the beginning of the season. What if we don't have a full season?
Good point. That's what, that was on the league.
Did I not see that?
Our whole league is.
Okay, I apologize. I did not see that. Thank you.
Anything else for principals? You guys have anything else? No discipline issues yet?
None yet.
Hallelujah.
They ain't over.
Yeah.
Just 10? I think we can go now, right?
Well-
No, but we are ready to move into exec session. Personnel number 1.
Okay.
Which is to do with our last motion at the last meeting.
For information with the couple, do we need to,
It's under here on 7.4.
okay, should we move that up so they can go home?
If you would like to do that, you could make that
I think that
motion.
would be really nice of us.
Would you like to make that motion?
I would like to invert 7.4 and 7.1. Yeah, switch, yeah, okay.
Move it up.
Yeah, that's fine. Well, my heart was in the right place now.
Yeah. Student matters, exec session for student matters, do we need any staff?
Kathy,
Yes, Kathy? Yeah. And for how long?
10, is that long enough?
Like, for me?
I take a break.
Okay.
I would really like that.
Okay, so we're gonna take a 5-minute break. We will come into executive session with Kathy at 8 o'clock to return to open session at 8:10. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Okay, we're back in open session.
My phone hung up. Hang on.
Yes, back in the room. What happened?
Phone hung up.
They kicked us all
You're out. Mike's out.
I'm out?
Yeah.
I didn't even pick myself out. All I did
I
was.
know. Teresa's out. I see you.
Oh, I'm ready to get back then.
Who are you? I am not.
I'm being.
You.
Are we reconnected? Are we live again? Okay, thank you. So we really appreciate the effort that you put into coming out and visiting with us this evening. The board is not going to reverse our decision, and it really is based upon that class size that we have for kindergarten and the fact that there are other kindergartners whose families actually met the deadline, who we also declined. So we appreciate it very much and encourage you to apply again next year or seek property in the district.
All right, well, thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming. Okay, next item on the agenda is personnel 7.1. Is there a motion to go into executive session and the
I move that we enter executive session for reasons of personnel.
Mr. Sager and Mrs. Blake,
Nope.
say? I don't think we do for anything.
With
Sorry, Mrs. Gorman.
Why is he laughing at you, Kathy?
Hey, be careful, we'll move you to the end.
Rhonda had one car last time.
Well, do you really?
What?
You had a guitar last time?
Last time, yes.
Yeah.
So hopefully today.
Oh, man, I was-
Make it out.
I
Like,
do.
where can you come help me?
Gosh, I keep a can of Flex Plant in my pickup at all times, so.
We just brought her back in there.
Typical farmer.
Thank you, guys. See you later.
Hi.
Returning at 8:25.
Well, 8:25. Yes, Mrs. Foreman.
Go outside and warm up.
Justin,
See
Sheree,
ya.
all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those same sign. Motion carried. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, we are now back into open session.
Is anyone out there? No. I wasn't talking about cyberspace. I know you're there, Andy.
Is anyone out there? Is anyone
There's a little bit of an echo. It was kind of entertaining here. Sorry.
Somebody's got a mic on.
That was my computer, because I just turned mine on.
Okay, we also have another exec session, that we need to go into, and I think because we moved 7.4 up, that Mrs. Foreman is done, is that correct? No? Oh, no, there's not. Oh, okay. So we need Mrs. Foreman for this one first.
I move we go into executive session again for reasons of personnel, for 9 minutes with Mr. Stump and Mrs. Gorman and the Board of Education until 8:35.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those same sign?
We'll see you at 8:35.
Okay, we are now in open session.
We probably need another 5, don't we? I move we go back into executive session for another 5 minutes.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. We'll be back at 8:41.
And we are now live.
Okay, now we are ready to move on to what has been moved to 7.3, personnel, with Mr. Stump. 10 minutes? More than that. 15, make a motion.
Point one.
Sir? Well, it's because we moved student matters up, it's 7.3. The second.
Good night, Kevin.
Good night. Jimmy? 15 minutes?
10, 15, I don't care. I'm trying to find it again.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Are you good? 15 minutes? Yes.
Aye. Aye.
Sorry.
Aye.
We'll be back at 8:57.
Sharice is being naughty.
We are now in open session.
Oh, I didn't have my-
Hello,
I didn't have my camera covered, but
you're muted. I saw your microphone. But you can't read my lips, can you? Justin? Okay. there's a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign.
the Coke before you go.
Without Mr. Stumpf. Okay, keep going. Sorry.
Okay. Kelsey Strauss, Gary Ema, Camden Garrettson, and Emily Wise, and Tina Tanner with her 30-day probation period for the jobs of full-time route driver, temporary and full-time substitution, full-time aides, temporary full-time aide, and custodian.
Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay. Last item. Negotiated agreement. Talking about the final draft of the negotiated agreement as approved previously in the compiled form. The MOU for the 2021 COVID-related considerations. And reclassifying the 24th of August as parent-teacher conference comp time.
Move we accept it.
Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. And I would like to echo Mr. Anderson's sentiments about how nice negotiations went this year. It was seriously a joy in comparison to other years that I've served. So
Yeah.
Comparatively, not a joy, but
It did have plenty of his tea.
if, we'd be fortunate if every year would go like this year.
for sure.
We really would.
Do we need to also the last? Therese? Well, would you, with the agreement or what was printed, is that what you're, as presented? Oh, yes.
For salary, just as presented.
Yeah. Any spreadsheet or,
I move that we adjust superintendent salary as presented.
For a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? We'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. And before we adjourn, I just remembered, when I called KASB on the breach of contract conversation, one of the things we talked about also was doing third-party exit interviews. And KSB is willing to do that. We would just need to decide if we want to do that with employees who are leaving so that we have an independent perspective about why they're leaving. And I think that it's great practice. It's written in our policy as an option that we have available. It will cost us $200 an hour if leadership does it because it has travel included in their hourly rate, or it will cost us $175 an hour if legal does it. And we can decide whether we want it in person or if we want it like over the telephone or a Zoom conference call.
We might be able to find somebody who goes through less if we'd like to.
do you think in this case that it is warranted, Roger, in your professional opinion?
It's never bad to have data, to put a process in place to get that. We typically know, in a lot of situations, we typically know, as long, because they're typically upfront with us. But it doesn't hurt to get data. I hesitate to, at those rates, that we might not be able to find somebody more locally.
Who, when you say somebody more local, who are you thinking?
I would have to do some research, but we could probably contract with an employment agency. So I probably reach out to Shrum or somebody and see if they have some recommendations of somebody who might be able to do that. Professional in the field, at least to give us a presentation or a competitive bid.
the amount of time you'll spend doing that will probably cost us what we would spend with KFB. And they are the professionals in the field, so I personally think that we should probably just use our services available to us. We have relationships with them, there's a school perspective. But that's mine.
I think it's just important that we do it. Because there's always my side, your side, and then the middle.
Right. That's just to hear it, I think it's important, so. We need to take formal action on that, it's already in policy.
Already policy that we can, are you saying going forward, or do you want to go backwards and catch people?
I would like to do anyone in 2020. Did not come back for 2021.
Okay, so going forward.
Our most recent.
1920.
The 1920 contracts that are not back for 2021.
Okay.
Everybody good with that?
Yeah. I think so.
Okay. All right. Anything else for the greater good?
Motion to adjourn?
What's that?
Favor, say aye.
6.
It's not 10 o'clock.
You guys were quick before 10. You can say the night.
We got a lot to do too. I mean, it only took us 3 meetings this month.
Oh, we didn't say that also. Remember, we have one on the 31st.
We do?
We approved that with our goal setting. The fifth Friday, or fifth Monday.
Oh, yeah.
We don't like you anymore.
And we're limiting it though, remember?
Yes.
6:30 to 8, no more than an hour and a half.
We are adjourned.
Yes, we are adjourned.
We know better than that.